Tape marker, action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680.
And this is Lex, back at it again with another review.
Let's get right to it, guys. Lex, what are we reviewing today, man? The anticipating project that we've been talking about. What is it?
The man, the myth, the legend, the Man in Black.
Yeah, the Man in Black. You guys will know what we're talking about. After watching the movie, you will know what we're talking about. Shazam, yeah. We're talking about Black Adam, ladies and gentlemen. Black Adam stars The Rock himself. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. 14 years in the making for this film project. I can't believe it. I really can't.
It's crazy. I don't even, back then, I was into comic books movies, right? But back then, the news and the outlets and stuff like that wouldn't report this as much, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess it wouldn't reach the people unless you look for it. Now the news reach us.
It's everywhere, yeah.
So I had not known that he was chosen for this role that far back, because if you think about it, I mean, that is even before the work of Nolan and things like that. It was just so long ago in the DC age, at least from a cinematic standpoint.
Yeah, it really is. This movie, it's definitely entertaining. We're gonna talk about it. No spoilers, by the way, guys. We're gonna talk about this film. We're gonna dissect it a little bit. This film is very entertaining. Very entertaining. This is set. It shows synopsis reads: nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash a unique form of justice on the modern world. Now, we knew this getting right into the whole plot of this story. We knew from the trailers, we knew that obviously this is a rude awakening for him, coming from this ancient times, knowing where the deep roots are for this civilization, for his whole his whole origin story, right? I was very surprised as where the story went about. This film started out really good in the beginning. I love the narration with the little boy. He was really good. Yeah, the kid, he was really good. I liked his voice a lot, and which is crazy because I'm not too much of a fan of narration, but I actually love certain people's voices, and he was definitely very definitely very dramatic, which I do love. I do enjoy. Maybe not everyone will enjoy that, but I enjoyed that because it gave us a little bit in depth of how are they going to introduce us to Black Adam? How are they going to show us this new character that really rarely nobody really knows about? Per se, how are they going to introduce him as a villain the whole time? Is he going to be villainy? Is he going to be too heroic? So many different situations could occur here in this outcome here. But I mean, dude, I was pleasantly surprised as how the story was structured. It was good. It was very good structure. Did you fall for, or did you enjoy that structure in the beginning of the film?
The beginning, yes, it was a solid intro. I'm trying to find the difference between what I may have seen as an issue I don't know if it's structure or pacing. I think it might be pacing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that too as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to identify. I think it's still early. I think maybe as I look back at it a little bit more, I'll be able to set the definition. It may be both, a combination of both. Yeah. But the intro was good, like you said. Because this is not necessarily an origin story, right? Because it takes place in modern day, so they have
it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It tries to. I don't know. For me, it's obviously The Rock really preaches about this, right? He really talks about it a lot on his Instagram, on his IGTV. He really talks about how this is somewhat of an origin story, but I got a little bit of origin story here. The pacing for sure. I really wasn't a fan of. At the beginning of the first act of this film, it starts off really good, and then it kind of loses its pace, its feel a little bit in the very beginning. But during those moments, though, we get a little comedy relief, which I did enjoy. A lot of the comedy in here, I really did enjoy. Not all of it. I enjoyed a lot of it, really between the superhero dynamics, really between Hawkman and Atom Smasher. I loved Atom Smasher in here. I loved his little comedy relief that I really did enjoy. I thought it wasn't overbearing because I kind of felt like, is he trying to be like the Flash comedy? What is he trying to do? Is he trying to? And at the same time, though, you're kind of stuck in that realm of like, it's not, it's, obviously it's DC, right? I mean, this is a huge DC expansion here that really, it's really amazing to see this. It really was. We knew we were going to get Dr. Fate from the trailer. Dr. Fate was effing amazing. I love Dr. Fate. I probably, and he was a champ in this whole movie. I'm sorry, I was trying to, he was a champ in this movie.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my God.
He's definitely a standout. Like Pierce Brosnan carried the role so well. It's pretty much what I wanted out of a Dr. Fate character.
Yeah.
Of course, like
an older age Dr. Fate.
Yeah. Right? And you can't see, like, you can't get enough of his character. So like I wish there was more of his character in the movie, but I think they gave us enough because he was definitely a focal point time to time.
Yeah. Is it weird? Yeah. Is it weird to say? And again, I mean, call me crazy, right? I mean, again, I just find it so weird that I enjoyed more. Again, this is not the negativity towards The Rock or Black Adam. I enjoyed more of the expansion characters that we got. Hawkman, Atom Smasher, Dr. Fate. What's the Cyclones?
Cyclone, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cyclones. I enjoyed all their dynamics together. I enjoyed their humor together. I enjoyed their conversations, their dialogues more than I liked The Rock. Now, The Rock didn't really have too many. I mean, I enjoyed The Rock. I really did. It just, for me, I feel like the dialogue in this was kind of not as deep as I wanted it to. I really wanted this to be a little bit more dramatic. And it's funny, too, because I kind of feel like a lot of fans are very split on this because whether you believe it or not, Man of Steel was one of the best DC projects out there in the film industry. It really is. As far as DC properties, it really is. Whether you believe it or not, films are subjective. That's fine. But I'm telling you, Man of Steel is phenomenally like the rise of right now, one of the greatest origin stories for the DC projects as of right now. Besides the Batman, this is we're talking about the DCU. To expand on that, it really acknowledges it kind of was a little bit light on drama, which I liked at the same time, but at the same time, I wanted it more in depth of Black Adam.
I guess, yeah, and that's always hard to do, right? Because it is Black Adam.
You don't want to be too much into it, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's hard to do is, in Man of Steel, it really focused on Superman, the character, and I mean, you have Sod, and you had a little bit behind, or a little bit about his motivations and things like that, but the focal story was all about that, and so I think it's easier to wrap a story around that singular character. And here they introduced The Rock, but then they also try to introduce the Justice Society of America as kind of like that opposing force, trying to, like prevent chaos from happening at the hands of Black Adam, right? Yeah. So I think it was a hard thing to accomplish. I think they did just enough to at least get audiences going, like you said, expand the lore a little bit more, especially for those that don't know. Like the Justice Society of America was basically the Justice League before the Justice League
before Batman, before any of them. Yeah, exactly.
They operated, and keep in mind, like the comics date back multiple years, right? But like in modern day, they would have operated like back in the 60s or something like that, which is why you have certain characters like Dr. Fate already being an older character, but he was in his prime back in the 60s or whatever. Once again, I'm kind of estimating like where it would be compared to like 2022, for example. But yeah, it's there's a lot to grab from there. I gotta say, like, I still think The Rock is like the focal point of the movie, and he kind of kept it all together. But I do get you, like, as far as like there's appeal behind some of the other characters introduced. I enjoyed what I got from Cyclone, and
she was phenomenal. Like all their costumes, the costumes was great.
The costumes are great. I like the charisma behind it. And I'll touch on this point just in a second, like about the movie being funnier than I thought in a good way. But I do gotta say, like, Atom Smasher and Cyclone, more Atom Smasher.
Mm-hmm.
I like the character. Like you said, there's comedic relief and things like that. I think he stepped a little bit too much into the danger zone of him just being that, like him just being comedic relief, because outside of that, they did dumb him down a little bit, which I hope they would have threaded a little bit more carefully than that. Because once again, aside from some of his moments, like they could have done a little more, in my opinion. Now, granted, like, well, I won't mention this because it might be a spoiler, but he's a younger person. Let's just say that, right?
Well, that's in the trailer. It's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer. He's a younger person, so they'll show what relationship he has as the Atom Smasher. But I'll just say that it was from the Justice Society of America. You expect some of that gravitas and some of that, and once again, that's what Dr. Fate brought. But like, you would expect some of that wisdom to kick in terms of like, okay, how do we operate as a team? And mixing in some younger characters, it gives like fresh blood in there, and maybe characters that can have a continuation into whatever their next plan is. But I gotta say, once again, with his character in particular, I think they dumbed him down a little bit too much, which is a shame because I really like the actor. I think he can carry both the comedic relief while at the same time having a little bit of extra depth. And once again, that's the problem of having all these new characters for the very first time, is you can't really expand on all of them. I just wish there would have been just another layer of depth behind some of them. But then once again, on who it matters, which is Black Adam, I think they did a good job at
they did him justice. They really did, and they really did. They did him justice. They did The Rock justice. It had its problems, just like every other movie. It has its problems. Is this the greatest DC film of all time? No, it's not. I'll say that. No, for sure it's not. But that's not going to say you're not going to have a great time in the theater watching this movie, because I did as a DC fan. It was really fantastic.
And the audience was like laughing, having a good time. Once again, to the point, the movie was a lot funnier than I thought. And
it added more questions, I think, too, because I did hear people, whenever Dr. Fate came on screen, they're like, who is that? And a lot of people don't know who Dr. Fate is. And the best terminology we could say, guys, is he is the Sorcerer Supreme of what he's the Doctor Strange in the DC. He is. Essentially, that's what he is. That's his role.
It's kind of the other way around, because Dr. Fate did come first, I think. I'll double check. I want to cite my sources, but I remember there's a long list. If you look up characters that who inspired who, there's like a
we'll put on
list.
Comments. We'll put on the comments.
I don't want to eat my words, so I'll double check. But no, I think though they did a good enough job to distinguish him to the point where people. I know you're making the comparison for those people that just don't know who he is. Like,
everyone knows who.
Right. But I think they did enough so that people just like don't feel that it's a copycat and things like that.
Exactly. And
but of course, it was. The comparison.
So the action sequences were so well lit. There was, Dr. Fate's action magic sequences were just phenomenal. I thought they were really good. New Line Cinema, you guys did a phenomenal job. The studio, one of the sub studios, I would say, over there in Warner Brothers, because it is phenomenal.
20 years prior. Dr. Fate came 20 years prior to Dr.
Dang, 20 years prior. Hey, bruh. And it's sad that no one knows who he is. Like, dude, come on. That's all I'm saying. DC,
there's always the fans that, right,
Oh, of course.
I think, that's actually a good point. I think that's the power of The Rock here, because The Rock is going to be, we're always going to get, like, not everyone that goes to the movies are like comic book nerds or they know about the lore. So there's no expectation there. But I think The Rock is doing a good job at selling this movie, and hopefully it brings in new audiences. And like I said, the movie's not a masterpiece. There is pacing issues. I think I can label them as pacing. It's not as well like constructed as some other movies. I think though, like at the end of the day, that all kind of falls second to how entertaining the movie was.
Exactly. And also just the whole connection, because obviously there is connection. There is acknowledge that it is connected to something else. We're not going to mention it on this review, but it is going to make sure to check it out on a spoilers review. It is connected to something that we are going to enjoy, and we're not even just talking about just the end credit scene. We're talking about the film in general, and everything. So it really connects to the whole as to where future projects for the DCU is and what future DC films can we expect out of it as well. It definitely keeps the door open, and I love how The Rock really influenced that. He really did. I'm pretty sure he was like, "Hey, we're not making this movie without Dr. Fate or Hawkman." And surprisingly, I enjoyed Hawkman. Like Hawkman was really cool. Dude, Hawkman was phenomenal, and that goes to the actor himself. He is phenomenal. Yeah, he is great. I mean, I enjoyed him in Straight Outta Compton. He was phenomenal in Straight Outta Compton. I remember he played MC Ren. He's played a lot of different roles. He's also played Levi Jackson in Hidden Figures. I enjoyed that movie with Kevin Costner. It was, I
think I saw him in The Invisible Man first. Where he played like a love interest for the main character there, and he was great in that movie as well. He's always done a good job at having like a presence in each of his roles, at least from what I've seen. But it was really exciting here. Him taking on as an epic character like Hawkman. I wish with him I wish they would have once again added a layer of depth, but I think he was like throughout the movie, like he was kind of like that voice of reason or trying to navigate around once again the threat of Black Adam, and he did a good job at standing alongside someone like The Rock, who's stepping into this character as well.
Yeah, definitely, and I enjoyed. Dude, I was very hesitant because obviously his suit is CGI, right? Essentially the wings.
Hawkman.
Well, obviously,
okay. I thought you're talking about Black Adam.
No. So obviously, most of it is CGI, right? Most of it, just like and hey, Hasbro, Warner Brothers, make the damn Dr. Fate helmet. That's all I'm saying. Make the damn helmet, just like the Mandalorian helmet is made for Hasbro. Just make the damn helmet already and have it light up. That would be amazing. That would be epic. That would change the whole DC universe right there on itself. But besides that point being given there, Hawkman's outfit, I was pleasantly surprised how much better it looks. I was very hesitant on the trailers because we got a little bit of clips in the trailer, and I was all like, I don't know if I'm going to buy into this because it looks mostly CGI. But in the movie itself, I was happy. Very happy. It came out, it shined, it came out, the movements of everything was just no blurriness, nothing just pixelated at all. It was just a little bit because of the clouds, but it is what it is. I enjoyed all their costumes. Every single one of these characters' costumes, I enjoyed. The Justice Society, I enjoyed every single one of them, and it's crazy for me to think that, and knowing where The Rock was, The Rock starts off and everything, and when everyone tells me, "Oh, what do you think of Black Adam?" Dude, I enjoyed it. It's a very entertaining film, but at the same time, though, I was kind of little bit let down on the dialogue with The Rock, and I'll mention it all the time. His lines, I kind of felt like his lines could have been stronger. He could have a little bit more depth. I wanted more villainy. I'll say that. I wanted more villain. I wanted more of him, more in-depth villain. If that makes any sense. I wanted that emotional grasp, and I felt like we really didn't get too much of it. Obviously, we knew this was going to be anti-hero. We knew this. He was going to change his, now I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to be turned villain to hero, almost essentially what Venom is in the Sony pictures. So essentially where we're going to see kind of that dynamic there. And we got it. And I was content. I wasn't excited. I wasn't happy. I was content with that story outcome of that. So, I'll leave it at that. But as far as The Rock goes, his presence was phenomenal. His jokes, I kind of felt like they should have stuck with his comedy, because he's really good at that. He really is. If you haven't seen a lot of his, not Hobbs and Shaw, right? God, not Hobbs and Shaw. Please don't watch that movie. But, but so many of his dynamic films where he's hilarious. He's cracking me up.
I actually like that they kept it. They toned it down a bit, Like he is once again, the movie's a lot funnier than I thought, and part of that was Black Adam. There is a fish out of water element to it, right? Because he is 5,000 years old, compared to the present day where he's at in the movie. So there's always those funny elements, right? Like we saw it with Wonder Woman. It's a similar thing. There's the funny tropes behind that, right? Like adapting to it. So I think, like, I agree with you. The dialogue kept it simple. They tried not to overdo it, but like you said, I think in terms of bringing a character to an epic scale, you sometimes have to do a little bit more. But from the comedic standpoint, I think for me this is a Goldilocks zone, for at least for The Rock. Because if you do too much, then you start seeing The Rock. The movie kept me under the lens of like, okay, this is Black Adam. Granted, like I may be alone in that, right? Like people are going to be like, oh no, he's acting like how Dwayne Johnson acts, like in the heroic or stoic. He's stoic more than anything. But I gotta admit, like, I mean, there was a lot of deaths in this, so I kind of like, I know you made a comparison with Venom. The only part where I disagree with you is I think Venom was brought a little closer to the good spectrum, and I think Black Adam did do a good job at kind of like, I'm still gonna stay on this gray area.
I felt it was the same. For me. For me, but I just felt like it was the same. That's where I disagree with. Boom, ka-cha, falls in. Shazam,
I mean, we gotta see. We definitely want to see. Like, I'm interested to see, like, where this he's still kind of like loose cannon, right? So I'm interested to see what happens next with a lot of these characters.
Definitely. Was this a film that we deserve? Definitely, guys. I do say 100% agree. This is a film that you need to check out in a theater near you, guys. You know you're going to watch this no matter what because The Rock tells you to. You know you're going to watch it. And be sure to take a shot of Terramana right before you watch it, all right? Because it's going to make the film a lot better. I'm definitely going to be drinking right before I watch the next. I'm rewatching this on Saturday. I'm going to take a bottle of Terramana. I don't care what it says. The Rock said I could do it. Here's the Instagram post. Boom. He said we could bring in a bottle.
Then, like for the WWE fans, like he is the most electrifying man.
It's sports entertainment.
WWE DC universe.
Rating 1 out of 10. Tell me the highest. Lex, what do you give this rating?
I'm gonna give this movie. I'm
gonna give it a solid 7.
Okay,
I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
I was thinking 7.5 heading on its way to 8, but 7.5 is accurate. And don't get me wrong, like I'm actually being conservative with this pick. It's a very fun and entertaining movie. And honestly, that met my expectations because that's what I was expecting. I did not walk in here expecting that we were going to get like an Oscar nominated or like a
what we like to say as of right now,
level of like story. Like I was not expecting that.
Like Wakanda, I didn't expect with Wakanda Forever that's coming out later this year. I have another expectation level for that movie because of the last movie we got, though. That's why, because of how rich story, rich culture that we got in the last film. But knowing where this is a start, now after this, I could really at ease and say, this is a really, really solid film. It really is. It really is solid.
And for people that like superhero movies, like if you ask me to rate like the action sequences and how like solid the VFX was not perfect in all of it, but it was pretty solid all around. But the action sequences are some of the visuals combined with the action sequences are some of the best and that we've seen in superhero movies like recently. Like it's not like top-notch choreography because the action is not grounded in reality, right? There is VFX reliance here, but honestly, like I compare those action sequences to some of what we saw in Man of Steel when it comes to demonstrating the power and the physicality of Black Adam.
He was moving like Man of Steel. He really was. He was moving like him. It felt like
it was tangible speed. It was good. Strength. And I think a lot of superhero movies also that are VX heavy failed to do that. So I give them props for that.
Definitely. All right, guys, put a comments down below. What did you think of this movie review, guys? What did you think? What are your comments, concerns? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Are you just like, guys, Ryan, Lex, you guys are crazy. This movie sucked. Put comments down below, guys. Tell us why, because we love talking movies with you. And as always, I am your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680. And if you have not already, check out our spoilers review coming out to you. I'll put on comments down below. Our spoilers review coming out. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
This was Lex. Take care, everyone. Watch the movie.
Yeah, check it out, guys.
Get up now.